Doc, you are welcome. Yes, for Human Security Research Center, like I said, it's a very new thing to me. I want you to take us through that particular institute. Tell us what it is before we start.
All right, thank you very much. Let me be very clear, first of all. This is supposed to be an English program, but from time to time, you and I can intersperse with Dagbani.
Sure.
So we can have another time which will be strictly, exclusively Dagbani. Yeah, but having said that, let me say a good evening to all your listeners and also to thank Sagani TV. And you yourself, like you introduced,
sure.
Look like this thing has caught you unawares, but I am very confident that you'd do a good job. Yes, so this evening we're going to be talking about violent extremism. We're also going to be looking at the current upsurge in insurgents in the region, where terrorists are causing all manner of havoc. We would also be looking at issues that we need to handle within the country, so that at least we will stay safe. Having said that, my organization, the Human Security Research Center, Ghana, is located, we are incorporated in Ghana and located in Accra.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, our office is at Jowolo. That's the main one. The subsidiary office at the PWC Towers and cantonments, Accra, the same. Yeah, so our work is centered on preventative human security activities, and what we do is to ensure that we partner with government to ensure that government works in harmony with communities. There needs to be that mutual trust between the communities and government. That way we should be in a position to be able to prevent violent extremism and also make sure that we sustain peace within the country. We have an area of expertise in our organization. Of course, you know my background.
Sure.
And there are other backgrounds that is related to my background that you probably don't know. For example, I'm a food security expert.
Yes.
You understand? I'm also an environmental expert.
Okay.
So all of these count, they are all hinged around security. Or should I say human security. Apart from that, we have a lot of persons who have had previous expertise in managing security issues in this country. For example, our board chair is Lieutenant Colonel Latte, who was the National Security Coordinator under Atta Mills. And we have other retired Army generals who in the past also had some responsibilities in relation to security. But let me also add, you see, sometimes when we talk about human security, people want to look at it from the conventional security, where you move in with force and to get things done. That's not what is done here.
Okay.
For us, human security, we emphasize development strategies that are making sure that people live in harmony. People are free of poverty, people are free of hunger, and people are free from incessant and sudden attacks that disrupt their lifestyles. So basically, this is what human security is all about. And then we think that if we are able to harness this within a national security context, it can promote sustainable development.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is
that's
a way of introduction.
On it.
Yes.
Human Security Research Center, Ghana.
Yes.
All right. So now we know what you are into, and for weeks now we heard about extremism, terrorism in the sub-region. Let's look at Ghana as a country. Should we be worried, and why?
Well, should we be worried? First of all, before I answer that, man, let me tell you what usually needs to, happen within to maintain peace and stability in any country. We always have national stability on one side and the potential for social disruption on another.
Sure.
So in between this, there are some, activities and things that government and the populace need to do so that we can maintain that harmony. The thing that promotes national stability is simply building trust between government and the governed. The people that we put in leadership and those of us who are led. It is very important that we do that. To the extreme end is the potential for people getting frustrated with the system, and then in trying to find some kind of solace, they think that the resort to violence is the way out. So in between this, we need to have a balancing act between national stability and social disruption. So basically, human security, we try to look at some of these factors. For example, within any community, if there's no trust, if there's no trust, it means there are certain things that are happening, either from government or from other kind of establishment that is making them feel uncomfortable. And as soon as you do not address these issues of that causes distress, you are likely to continue to have that one to escalate to the extent that, like I said, people get disappointed, they get disaffected, they feel rejected, and therefore the only way left out for them is to engage in violence, which is what we don't want to happen.
I see.
Yeah. So should we be worried? Yes, we should be worried.
As a country?
As a country, we should be worried.
I see.
Why? Because all the 3 countries that border us are currently engulfed in these terrorist activities. Burkina, Cote d'Ivoire, and Togo. And let me tell you, for the genesis of it all started when we had the first attack in Mali in 2015. Then followed by Burkina Faso, Burkina in 2016. In fact, Burkina and Ivory Coast got it at the same time. If you remember the Cote d'Ivoire one, it was at a beach at Grand Bassam, you know, where gunmen attacked them, and then all manner of hell broke out. They killed a lot of people, you understand? So, and during this insurgency, you realize that for us, at the three countries of Ghana, Benin, and Togo, it looks like we were free. Then recently, Benin got attacked.
Yeah.
Where some forest rangers were killed. Then Togo. Even
the very recent one.
Yeah, that's right. About 48 hours ago, there was another one. Unfortunately, this time close to the border of Ghana in the eastern, the northeast region. So you see, it's gradually getting closer. So should we be worried? We definitely should be worried. Why? The other reason why we need to be worried is that the triggers that often lead to, you know, this insurgency are there with us. They are there with us. For example, when people are unemployed, you know what that means. You know what that means. They say a hungry man is an angry man. Yeah. So we have unemployment that is in the system. We also have instances of marginalization. Okay. And for example, for that one, I can illustrate it with the issue of the Fulanis. Have you noticed that these days, the least provocation or the least killing that happens, it is attributed to Fulanis? But unfortunately, it is not always the case. A case in point being, not long ago in the Eastern Corridor, a teacher was killed. Yeah. And what did
that led to killing of 7 Fulanis.
Later on, what did the police say?
They said they are searching for
they actually had
some people.
Exactly. And so no, it was not Fulanis. It was put it this way, an internal rift between people of the same ethnicity.
Sure.
So you see, so it's not always that it could be that. So if you if every time a group of people are being held for things that they don't know, they don't do, it is possible that, there could be a fight back, and that is not good. So again, the poverty, the 3 northern regions, in fact, shall we now say 5 northern regions?
Yeah, 5
are the home of poverty. And so if we don't begin to address some of this, these are drivers or trigger points that could also lead to them, to the issue of destabilization. How about armed robbery? Tamale now, in fact, I've been in Tamale for the last 2 weeks. I think there have been like 2 instances of armed robbery, I'm told.
Yeah, sure.
The recent one being
was the mobile money vendor.
Yeah. So all of these, they are not good indications. Okay. Again, and transnational crime, where you have people, crossing into other countries. For example, in the Hamley area, 2020, we had an incursion where so-called terrorists got in, attacked some mobile money vendors, collected their monies, and even on their way out, they robbed people of their motorbikes. Smuggling also.
It happens every day.
Yeah, it happens. You say?
It happens every day. Yeah,
so there we go. So all of this, there are many. But let me also tell you something. There are 2 important things. The porous borders, our porous borders. There are a lot of entry points, illegal entry points. So you see, so that is possible. If you cannot have a total control of your border area, how can you have a total check on who may come in and go out? Yeah. But for me, another worrying thing that I need to mention is the falling standards within our security services.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
That should be blamed as well?
Of course. Because if you have people who do not act professionally, eventually they continue to cause disaffection within society. And when society begins to fight back, it's a problem.
Okay.
Haven't you seen instances of young men now boldly confronting our security services?
That's right.
It's there on social media all over the place. All over the place. And I nearly forgot something. Look, the sub-region, this year, the Global Terrorism Index, the report of 2022, the West African sub-region has accounted for 48% of all the terrorist fatalities globally. 48%, just West Africa alone. Yes, and it just involved about 3 countries in West Africa. Yeah, fatality. In fact, the recent one in Burkina recorded globally, it was ranked second the whole world, because 160 persons were killed just in one strike. 160 people. That's a lot. You know, and again, the report indicated that political terrorism is now overtaking the so-called Islamic terrorism that we know.
I see. So what you say political terrorism?
And when you have a group of an organized group that is fighting an established government, in forms of demonstration and related, that is political terrorism.
Okay.
But unfortunately, if you look at the trajectory of our politics today, if we don't take time, political terrorism is going to gain ground in the country. Yeah, nobody likes to talk this way, but the point is, if you are forewarned, it means you are also foretold. You are forearmed. If you are forewarned, you are also forearmed. So it is good for us not to hide some of these things and continue, I would say...
We need to speak out.
Yeah, we need to speak out.
Obviously. Yeah. Yes, but those groups are often referred to as Islamist group. First of all, I don't know whether it's true. And if true, which of these groups are in the sub-region?
Yeah, actually, yes. The reason why they usually will be referred to as Islamist groups, let's be frank, they are... what is happening in the sub-region now are elements of Al-Qaeda. Yeah. And then they are affiliates of Al-Qaeda or ISIS, the ISIS that we know in the Middle East. That is the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. That is ISIS. So all of these are affiliates of these 2 major organizations. So in our region, there are 2 major groups. That is the Islamic State of the Greater Sahara. That's the number 1 group. The second is the Islamic State of West African Province. In fact, sometimes they just refer to it as Islamic State of West Africa. Yes, but there are also others, like Jamaat Nusra al-Islam wal-Muslimin, Janim, that's their acronym. We also have, Janim, by the way, is linked to Al-Qaeda. And then we also have Ansar al-Islam, Tawhid wal-Jihad in West Africa. And they have another name, which is known as the Movement for Unity and Jihad in West Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Al-Qaeda in the lands of the Islamic Maghreb. And then Almighty Boko Haram.
Sure.
So these are the groups that are there.
A very popular one.
Yeah, very, very popular.
Yeah.
Very, very popular.
Yes, I wanted to ask where recently, those attacks happened. But, in your submission, I heard about Togo. That's a recent one. 2 days ago, right?
Yes, yes.
Nigeria, we heard some of the group attack a church, killing
that's like people. About 4 weeks,
4 weeks
ago. Yeah.
And Burkina Faso. The recent one had just to do with Togo. All right.
Yes.
I want to know their motivations. Where do they drive it from?
Where do they drive it? It's very interesting. But no, let it be before. It is good for us to have some statistics here. We really have to state the problem the way it is. Let me tell you what happened in 2021, so that we know that it is serious and it is all around us. Number 1. In fact, the one that was ranked second in fatality, like I told you, was the one that happened on the 5th of June, 2021, where in Burkina Faso, in the Sahel region, 160 people were killed and 40 others wounded. And this is ranked the second most fatal in the world. But unfortunately, no group claimed that attack. Then on the 21st of March, 2021, in Niger, in the Tahua region, we had 137 people who were killed. And this was ranked the 3rd in terms of fatality in the world. And this was done by the Islamic group in West Africa. Then on the 18th of August, again in 2021, Burkina Faso came under the radar again, in which 59 people were killed, 15 of them were military persons, and 19 others wounded. And this was done by the Nusrat al Muslimin. But then let me just go to the last one, which is on the 6th of August, or I think 10th is October last year, 2021, in Ségou region in Mali. 30 people were killed, and then that is ranked 19th. So in all, again, some unknown group did that because nobody claimed it. Yeah. Yeah, but so having given you the extent to which we have had these fatalities, you ask what their modus. First of all, let's look at their modus operandi.
That's right.
How do they work? You know, these extremists, they employ a lot of various methods. The first one being that violence.
Okay.
First of all, you know, when they create violence in any community, the first thing that happens is that there's fear and panic. And that fear and panic, you know, psychologically, it defeats a populace. So they have that one. And they also engage in suicide bombing. They are involved in attacking security forces, usually to seize weapons. They also kidnap people for ransoms. Very, very common. Boko Haram is noted for that.
In Nigeria.
Yes. They also, in some instances, for example, in Mali and other places, they actually can also be engaged in illegal mining and logging just to make money. They also smuggle. But they have a very interesting way of financing their terror activities.
Oh, I see.
And it is called the Hawala method. And very interesting. Hawala method, you transfer money without involving money.
Oh, I see.
Yes. And somebody will say, how is it possible that I can transfer money without involving money? For example, if I want to transfer money to who is sitting over there.
Yes.
If I want to, you don't expect me to say that, do you? If I want to transfer money to Nyasi.
Or me.
Or you. No, first of all, to you.
Oh, that's right.
Because you are closer. If I'm going to transfer money to you, what I do is I give you a certain code.
Sure.
I tell you, we'll have a certain code, either in the statement or whatever. Maybe I'll say you're a big head. I'm not really saying you're a big
sure,
head.
I know.
Okay, so something like that. Then I would tell, then I will now approach Nyasi and tell him that I would like to transfer 1 million to you in this province. Nyasi will also, it is based on trust and honor. So Nyasi will also tell the gentleman seated there that we want to transfer money, this amount, to a certain somebody and mention you in this province. Then he also tells. So eventually the one who gives you the money is this last person who is there. And usually they will find somebody who lives in the same province with you. So he just comes to your house and gives you money. Nobody knows that it originated from me.
Okay.
And then the trust between me and him is that eventually this money is going to get to him in another way.
Either kidnappers.
Well, not really kidnapping. Maybe we can travel to a certain province and meet there and I'll give you your money.
Okay. What's the term again?
Hawala. Hawala. It's an Arabic term for it's an Arabic term. Yeah, so the same people, for their modus operandi, they are involved in armed robbery and car and motor jacking. You know that one.
Okay.
Then they also use radicalization. We'll come and talk about how they do the radicalization.
Yeah.
They use also technology to spread propaganda. And one of the interesting things is this: they target young people, mostly young men and women, mostly.
For recruitment.
And for them to gather intelligence, they will usually come in as beggars. So don't be surprised. All of these beggars that are true, you never can tell. They actually disguise themselves as beggars for purposes of information gathering. Then they will be transmitted, and they use all that in their their attacks.
Okay.
But they also quietly, for example, when they realize that there's some disharmony in any community, especially Muslim communities, they will tacitly quietly come in and get into it and begin to give one side money in order to escalate it. That is where I need to stress about the issue, the current happenings in Tamale. It's a very, very dangerous thing, what is happening among the Sunni clerics here in Tamale. And I'm sure you know, I don't want to mention it. No, I think for now, that like I said, I don't want to mention names. But within the Sunni community, there's a certain simmering and ending feud that we need to curb. It's a very, very dangerous thing that is happening. Yes.
See?
It's a very, very... So those of them who are listening to me on air, yes, I'm sure some of my friends, like Alaji Isako and Co, I'm sure they will know what I'm making reference to now. In fact, the unfortunately, the elderly people are involved. Elderly Islamic clerics are involved in this. Look, if we do not stop it now, the people out there, the terrorists out there are going to do, before you realize, they will creep in and, you know, all manner of subtle machinations get out to escalate that conflict. And then Ghana becomes a target.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. I have a plan of going to Accra and coming back, and I would like to go and visit some of these people who don't seem to stop. Yeah, that's Islamic. One of the dangerous things is a religious war. We don't want to start a religious war, and especially a religious war within the same faith. That is dangerous. In fact, every war is not good, but religious war is terrible. It never stops. And it gets sympathizers from outside very easily. It easily gets sympathizers from outside. So we are begging of them, they should hold their fire, they should cease fire. We don't like that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you were talking about motivation, but go
That's
on.
right. Yes, I mean, you explain. Yes, you explain.
No, we're talking about how do they operate.
That's right.
But what makes them want to do the thing that they do? That is the motivation.
And those who are behind those
precisely. I think we can talk about all those.
Sure.
Yes.
It's
so in terms of what motivates them, usually the socio-economic difficulties that people go through, you know, especially in vulnerable communities like ours. When you have a community in which poverty reigns supreme, anybody who seems to have some kind of a solution to them is able to manipulate them. It's very easy to manipulate a hungry person. So we need to be careful. The vulnerabilities in deprived communities, you know, they draw unwholesome actors that would come and disrupt the system the more. I also made allusions to the nature of our porous borders. Our borders are not tight, and that also is a problem. And sometimes some of our security personnel do not even help.
Okay.
They conduct predatory raids. For example, say let's take Tamale. Suddenly they get up that they raid a community, one part of Tamale, they are looking for arms. That is dangerous. You are just, you know, you are making the people angry the more. Like how I said in another program. Why is it not possible that, yes, fine, if you know there are illegal arms within the system, why don't you give the community a certain moratorium, a certain time period within which you should surrender all your weapons, all unregistered or illegal weapons, or regularize your weapons that if you think indeed it is legal, you can go and regularize it.
Sure.
It is not illegal to carry, but it has to be regular, it has to be registered. Of course, personally, you cannot have a personal assault rifle. You understand? So you can give a moratorium period within which they have to, and tell them if that period, then we will now come into your homesteads to see whether something is so you see, that one is a little bit more friendly and humane than people are sleeping and suddenly they are breaking their door.
Search for their
head. That is not.
Doc, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, sure.
If you just tune in, we are talking to Dr. Abdullahi Baba Salifu. Remember, he held as the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, country director for. Professor is a professor, I should say. So we are having a talk with him on terrorism and security issues. I'll come back to you, Doctor. But which I know that one very, very important. Maybe originally as I said, a 13-year period to pay and a tumble dapsody. Lamnatia da Banle. I'm asking some that Banle than important. So come woman, so come abondo banting the rise and Sherma. I'm going to let us share lunatic tabano, Kartukamata Pamati, Cheka, Ebang the Sherry. The Baba, the Tumwana, to Musulinama. The beer pump, the Baba and the Adin Zabli, not of a chair. There was only a trash them till can use that blufucat layer loma. And the river dung is said Bali, D to move on, Cheyo, when you're Talakane. The letter sublet, but in didn't burger new say Shaba, being for Shaba, but be some police in terms of attending a cabinet piano, Catalan patent and Bakashab deal and maturity. There was didn't a tree Shamoma, and it's a Merk Bali, no yearly. jarfo biarfo to ama ne kat mala de chairman ne riti mu bon chiyo ne de ka chairman holo yera ne o chagan kara lamna no mo zone ka ba biara pun on tongo manka o man bashine ka de mobile go tele to hay o lamna ka tiana da ban lama tan lan mi mir baza la na ko tiri ye zuwe heba center banasu bebe heba supplement ye to ane Raxin capsules and Amin Plus yes, but my producer is talking to me now. You got to Zanchango Kadi Kayi into the talent Tilamna Dr. Professor Bazandi if I share Palam Zantikati Diamfani Kana ICP or Guliama Yella Winyala.
Hamida. Mula, mko zila ndio wana kapula haina tepana. Mula vemo.
Uzo. Kuyul manejesha. Pa abo fulu bole puma. Nyang ma ambala nyara. Mimine yidan yizo buruzo. Mino zanyala papa. Obe njeje to malga lehma. Bime kutul maisha.
Hamida. Oi. Kawula yetu ambeka kutomesha. Kula.
Ni tu ala kan na ku fabla. Min do ni tu ama ni yara ti do shi.
Oi. Hamida yan bezumsum. Komple kama ndazana ma. Jai kula ne yon asba. Ina nan untan tatai yon tatai. Kan ni temi bebe. Oyi ko en ba ma ni ka belega ma son.
Ka bole nye bebe.
Ku ni ko ba bilon kare yele yai. Small but mighty. Do you know? Oh, well, I'm calling you couple. Oi, you could cut the young man at the Bahula Camfu.
Abor baby, nada, Antonia Dokuluku Pharmacy, EB Pharmacy, PK Gombela, and Lola Cambon Quaritima, Anchang, Anya baby da. The Mikunya Labora de Salina, Antonia Sue Herbal Center, Kavmin Sagani TV, but dance in the table.
Tempo pamka pae ina kuzan ntiti sahangoma mpinyele ye mitemene Dr. Abdullahi Baba Salifu pohan yure taba fama oladi alezan shele karnan de tunete kagle kaselo badi amfane tinje barmanse kabyi tan shale in kanate man barangoma ne bo pambiene ne bam mere un kornyer bo ngoma ne tebol ba terrorist ne bo to mal ba barna ne bo kanate betin barango pon bam baramal bishi kala kabri bora ama bo bon baje to ashanga the bolame intelligence in yelba ha tin kanama won yele yi no wakan no into nyamba to so barman shabam bi ko no ma ni le mba venyanga no to zana bo pam ba le Niger pour ngo Togo to ma be Nigeria bo to charna pam to so ne ka bo pam le ka la arabo kabri charna bo zan ba mo zan tena tinyi alezan shanga be information shanga na zan taba ha bi en chaba to tena enti to nye nasara or zan de baza pa kan de bo ne ntia doc. Let's come back. So no to bo hado so ka dok yar silmesel ka ce da bambul ci kallan bala den takkan na tin ya da bala ma tula kamata ta zan silmesel pille da yan chaka fokum sunum to jisa zan venyerenga. We were still talking about the motivation as to what motivates them, because in recent times we've seen so many people talks about it. It seems to me that people are really behind this things they see that triggers or motivate them to do things. What are some of the motivations you think drive those terrorists?
The major one is usually ideological. For example, the spread of Islam. You understand? Either for good or for whatever it is. Maybe, yes, for spread of Islam, either in the right way or the wrong way. And unfortunately, mostly this fundamentalism, I would say, is the wrong way. And then sometimes, let's be frank, some of these are fights for determination. For example, an independent struggle is a fight for self-determination. Some people just do it for, a criminal act, maybe for financial gain. For example, if you kidnap for ransom, that is money. Exactly, you need, but that's pure or even human trafficking. So some of these terrorist activities are related to this. I also mentioned, remember from the beginning, I already mentioned poverty, deprivation, and subsequent anger that follows, that when it persists for a long time. And of course, we do also have people who are psychologically challenged. So they just have a craze or crave to kill people, that's all. And some people may even be doing it because of revenge. Something happened some years back, now it is my time to take my pound of flesh. And then again, the very key one sometimes and mostly political power and control.
Oh, I see.
Oh yes,
That should be the major.
yeah. But if you have a terrorist group fighting a certain government, is it not because they want to dislodge the government and then take political control, power and control? So basically that is that. And then again, sometimes resources control. For example, if you go to the Congo DRC, it has all the wealth, I would say wealth. Yet they are poor because at every one time they are fighting one insurgency or the other. It's all about the resource control. Yeah, and the financiers may be big-time business entities from the West who want to make sure that the area never gets stable, and then they can have absolute control over the resources over there.
I see. Are there cells in Ghana?
You mean as in terrorist cells? Yes.
Cells.
I wish I could answer that, but I will not.
Why?
Yes, because I don't think we need to give them a one step ahead.
Oh, I see.
We shouldn't. But we should be cognizant of the fact that our borders are porous.
Okay.
Yes, we should be cognizant. And that in and out movement need to be controlled. So I would say that the national security architecture will have to step up their human intelligence capacity along the border areas. Human intelligence is people see and tell. So they need to step up that.
I see. I can see Ghana has been, we've been very lucky because for some time now, it appears we've been isolated from attack. Is there any reason?
Are we really lucky?
We are.
We've
been isolated for so long.
Yes.
We don't hear of those things.
I think you are. Yes. So far, let me tell you the trick. For example, let's take the Islamic terrorism as one, or shall I say Islamic insurgents as one. But usually it's happened. If you take Mali, for example, Mali has a grand mufti who controls all whose word is final in the whole of Mali in terms of the Muslim ulama over there. But let's take Tamil as a case in point. Is there one group, a particular imam here, who says that whatever I say, the whole of Tamil Muslims will no? It doesn't happen. Not even in Ghana.
Authority.
There's no single Islamic cleric has absolute authority.
That's right.
Exactly. And fortunately, in Ghana, fortunately, the Muslim community, to the extent that we are diverse, we also have accepted to recognize just one chief imam, national chief imam, and it doesn't matter your sect. We all follow it. So this is one of the reasons why we are lucky. But you see, let's be careful. We may be, that's why when you asked, I said, are we really lucky? Yes. So in terms of what I just said, maybe it gives us a bit of stability. But remember that about 2, 3, 4 years ago, there were reports of Ghanaians who have been radicalized and have actually participated in terrorist activities outside of Ghana.
Sure.
Do they have brothers, sisters, and friends in country? And if they do, what is the nature of communication that is ongoing between them?
Okay.
And again, anytime there's a terrorist attack around our borders, remember there will be an influx of refugees. The refugees, are they really refugees, or some of the terror activists also come along in those? So yes, so for now we are isolated, but we should not lose our guard.
Okay.
No, we cannot just take this.
Yes, in terms of intelligence gathering, in recent times, government and the National Security Ministry launched a project, and as part of that, there was.
I thought we would have taken that one towards the end of.
No, it's related to this question about gathering intelligence. Talking about if you see something, say something. Do you think that can also help?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yes, absolutely, because that is part of sensitization of the populace. Yeah, which I thought. Getting to the end of this, and we should be able. I will talk about that one and other issues
Okay.
So, okay.
Okay. So, but now, how can we identify a potential radicalized cooperative terrorist?
Yes. How do we identify a potential
radicalized
terrorist? In fact, you don't.
We can't.
You don't. You know why? Because the adoption of radical ideas is right inside your head. I cannot look at you and know what is inside your head. So for now, the first answer is you don't. But there are some signs that you can look out for. I'll tell you something. Let me quote somebody during the Grand Bassam attack. A 57-year-old person was asked, "Oh, did you see them?" He was like, "Hey, how can you see them?
Yes.
You may but listen, you may think you are safe, but jihadis are like ants. They come in without being noticed. In other words, they are as camouflaged as they come in." But you see, in terms of, again, unfortunately, I'll have to refer to the case of Islamic terrorism, as they say. Sometimes what you can do is look for signs.
Yes.
Look for signs. For example, if you and I were friends,
Sure,
and suddenly you see that I have suddenly changed the way I dress, maybe to a more religious outlook. You should be asking yourself questions: what has happened? If I now start to grow a beard, not the kind of beard you have or Nyase has, but you know the
long
type
one,
that's
right.
exactly. I should be asking questions. Again, when I realize that, look, you are now a reclusive. You know, you like to stay all by yourself. I should begin to ask questions. When I realize that you are no longer as open with me as you used to be, again, I should be asking questions. And not to talk about the fact that you now cut links with a lot of friends that you used to have. And then suddenly you start traveling to faraway places, mostly to where there's conflict. So these are signs, these are useful behavioral changes that you need to look out for. But still, it does not penetrate the person's head to know what is there. So so these signs are just for you to maybe to give additional attention to that potential person. So
I see.
Yeah. So it's difficult, but vigilance
it's important.
is important.
Very, very important. Yes, we talk about potential terrorist attack in recent times. You are a security expert. Are they in Ghana currently? Can we say they are in Ghana?
Who?
Terrorists.
Terrorists in Ghana. You see, that's a very smart question. The same question you asked me is what you have turned
That's
around
right.
again.
You want to know whether they are in Ghana?
Yes, and I keep saying that we can just say, let's just say there's a potential for that. So let's keep our guard.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
You don't want to open up on that.
No, you see, I keep telling you that we don't want to give people a step ahead.
Oh, I see.
Oh yeah, if you have intentions, and then I tell you that I know about that, won't you change your tactics?
Okay, so by your explanation, they are there, but you don't want to open up.
I didn't say that.
You don't have to say that.
I didn't say that.
Okay, so what should citizens and the state do to deal with the menace? I mean, we have government, we have people living in Ghana. What should we do? We are moving to the way forward.
No, I like to start that from a top-down approach, so that people can understand that we are not alone in the fight against this. So globally, only last month, some 85 countries gathered in Morocco, and of course the United States was included, including African countries. And the idea was to form a global coalition against ISIS, because it is the remnants or the affiliates of ISIS who are giving us the problems in sub-Saharan Africa. And what they are saying is that Africa is a very wide place and there's a lot of ground for them to play with. So if they sit down and let it fester in Africa, it's going to be very, very, very serious. So internationally or on a global scale, there is an international or a global coalition that will help Africa to fight this menace.
Okay.
And even in the sub-region, West Africa, Benin, Burkina Faso, La Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo. In 2017, when the terrorist activities were escalating, they decided to come together under an umbrella organization known as the Accra Initiative. The idea of the Accra Initiative was to respond to the growing insecurity in the West African region through cooperation, so that at least they will be able to stem the terrorist spread southward. They have three main objectives. Their objective is information. Under the Accra Initiative, the countries under that initiative are going to collaborate in information and in intelligence sharing. They will also be training security personnel, in security and intelligence personnel. Indeed, they have even conducted some joint cross-border activities. Yeah, and then I recall that in 2018 they had one between Ghana and Burkina, and then La Côte d'Ivoire. In those communities where there had been terrorist attacks, they even helped them with interventions such as providing them with amenities such as good drinking water, farming implements, sanitation equipment, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So that is that. But what about the Ghana-specific activities? State actions. What should the state do? We need further education and sensitization of citizens.
Okay.
Again, we need to resource the security personnel. Let's be frank, in terms of equipment, sometimes they are inadequate for our security services. Oh yeah, in terms of equipment.
Government.
Yeah, no, but it's not just carrying guns. You see, because for example, you need all-terrain vehicles. Vehicles that can, rugged vehicles that can crisscross through all various terrain. So it is important. And the important thing also we think should be a state action is experiential training. What that means is that send your security personnel, your intelligence officers to areas that have the conflicts. They will see firsthand how a particular country is handling that situation. And then, of course, when they come, they will be better prepared to be able to implement same and if not improve on them.
Okay.
Yeah, and more importantly, let's involve civil society more. The last one for country-specific activity that I think, or we at the Human Security Research Center think, is that we need to create what we call fusion centers in all the regions. A fusion center is just a place where you will collaborate and then you bring in all the intelligence that you are gathering, put it down, tease them out, and see the sustainable and effective ways to make use of that intelligence. Yeah, because if you cannot be sitting in Accra and directing the region, but if the action is here in the region, the deployment will be quicker, and then handling the issue would be quicker. So at the community level, that is still Ghana's specific activities. The community leaders have a lot of role to play. For example, our chiefs and imams have to encourage the youth to report any person who tries to recruit them. It's very, very important. At the same time, imams in particular should ensure that they eschew, hate sermons.
Within themselves.
But within themselves. Exactly what we're talking about. On social media, see what they are saying. And unfortunately, you have young men and women seated there and applauding them. And applauding them internally here.
It's dangerous.
The young men, so which means that, look, these people who are preaching that noxious sermons are getting into the heads of these young men. So they can only, escalate the situation. So that is why I was saying that we are begging of them, they should slow down. Of course, for the metropolitan district, municipal district assemblies, please, they should also make sure that in their areas of jurisdiction, they should work towards at least providing opportunities for young men and women.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Doctor, I'll come back to you for your last words. But Unkulam one left is or the others are pam, Kandukulam one in Jakai Bang, or Yella Yetosha, the Bay Bata, very important. Ne to Bang, Kadama, at Winnery Biane, or Yellen Timinri Biane. I tell the Ndorapone, the Kona Ban at the Tara, and a Musham, Kotapatara, Hollows on Tingy into Mahanle. Kaman zalada chiro zo marutinga katenya kodi otinga ko zuwi ora yala shete nam sor jinjama atenya ko pili barkara yawo be zabana mi yawo ora ba velde batta ba atenya ko pili banta ko felebo yala pam nang te biasa pune ta mata ba akane na te menir bi te bian ka ba biasa tara har ka ba yeto atara nira tu na te te dam bang wala ti alzan che kar vel pam kartu ne te baga nyala te de orpan shele te da dini yeto donc ku yel ba ngoma ni ti wazo num puni de tuni te chele yeto ayel te taba bale demle zan kana ti da fanam sunsuni tampil ni nanam ba ntat nanama wala ni na bachak na chimba bang ni bi te kana ba tuntu shan kar ba vela batun ban ba yorlum zo ban kam na te yel ba donc ko chak ba dang ta lala ni ba nuni ni chaka lala bibiela ngoma kar kat biya sa puni on ya shar ba ko kan ko zan ko vanyala de pandi alazan shama han no dorma na yeto no wumle kan yela tv nam ne yela radio zo alazan shanga te da alfa bema kan nim purama alfa bema ba pambandi alazan shanga zan te taba ba wazo no puni ni rin malla i dira alazan shanga ma perla bipola ma zone dama no nyeka in yarma ba parnu anya to so mi ti yela to aka so panu o so palga mazan para pulma karama de zamle yetwa do so nim pobne libu ti jene yetwa ngoma te waw tin dang chere te mamang sunsune de so kasamba te te shabra puni nzang untumte barna sahama ku chela tenepi number doctor to trauma zambala of course we have exhausted my questions except that you want to add something as your final remarks before we say bye bye.
Yes, my final remarks is that we should listen to all advice that comes out of our security agencies, especially from the national security.
Yeah,
I think that national security is, has been very, very proactive in this matter. They have come out with voice clips, they've come out with video clips, in various languages and in English, extolling on us that if we see something, we should say something.
Yeah,
but you see, do we actually see something? You see, you go to a crowded place and everybody's on their mobile phone. Nobody's even looking around. No, nobody's even looking around. We see something.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would like to take this opportunity and this medium to tell especially the young persons.
They are not vigilant.
Please be vigilant. Let these phones get off your hands a little bit. You understand? Go to the airport, go to any ask for your clubs and all that. Nobody cares. You understand?
Even the mosques, grounds.
Go to the sports stadium, nobody cares. So if you don't care, you will not see. And if you don't see, you will not say
something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So please, we are not in normal times. Please try and see. Just look around your environment. Scan your environment all the time. Scan your even normally in the evenings, in the night when you are driving, just look in your driving mirror. See who is next behind you and all those kind of things. What is he doing? What is he doing?
You should be asking yourself.
See something, please.
Before you say something.
Before you say something.
His name is Professor Abdullahi Baba Salifu, a former Director General of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, and now Executive Director of the Human Security Research in Ghana, HSRCGh. Initially, he spoke about the institution and what they do in Ghana. I will thank you so much for coming, Doctor. Next time, God willing, I want us to go into Dabani.
Absolutely.
I know you speak very good Dabani, but it's for a purpose, speaking in English. So, Tum Sandane, then you ibande channel Daban program, yele katete years semester ngoma. But in Tekana, Doctor Professor Nunti, the Yuba, the Balapuna, the Chakatil.
I mean, the Yeshem, I mean, an organization, ma, in Jumoma, come. Den Daniela tena kulpigla tu mama de tuyaka in yer bisha kam kabba dinyala te bala matabaka banya be bu sopung bala sagani tuyako ba wumna ni yer shema de zotina pil ba kana kul yama te lava ankara tiga da man ba jine ba da ne to la
ka ce mila yawan
nyala dagban le tam kam
mila yawan wa son to nya ka yer simis ka bola ka boyta ma'an ka cha mi dagban le pam ka zab dagban zo ba yes so mpu ya pam ka pa sama zonon ko bala te di alezama pam pa ne bo wa sher bo yele to sher ba ma ko nyame ni bu launch ye to sher ka bolle if you see something say something na ye shele nyen pa mama kan ye shele ko le boara tan ka tembe shango ba tin ye shele da ma ti lam lango kamza hapune so kan bublu mu ba phone ndira te da amre ya wa ka to ko wara te ba kane sabu tana te ba mi iban ter nine clap na ma disco ko wo iba kane iku ba la tabsha na war waay ko le na hala dur ba nyen pa mama ka lere aluru jacksone ngum biya nyanga ngum biya to ne tabe ta amba it's represent man labe balle te be nyeshale ka ko sharia lebo to rozo if you see something say something man an nyeshale ni yel me shale la kar go na mi bi nyeshale akoto yel shale to rozo chele ka nyeshale doctor ne professor ne professor na wuya to ashele mbala yuli bon la sanzaranto bolma adugale tinzan poro son ti amin pras o pon man pamti jingo don tabdo mo sondele amin pras nyala ngombe kula gombene chwa kon kona ko stra ka chen la yalla tampuni anu jergo zo forest marché o qualitative na ma air condition na ma fridge na ma yalla pam any electrical gadget ka bora anu ni mana halla ma shaw aku bala ma shana yil palma anan ka chen na kuma anu jergo after radio justice anjaba nimane amin plus gana won tabso no shima kan mariya pam raxen capsules ngona balla mutar na han bara dinda be gale punda be kolba ben punda o panan na manon roba pune kama instrument mayin ku dar shamna dar roba to ko hala tira kayan kadana mala raxen capsules zuwe heba santa nunu pasha zola ba tar na han bana ma de bela o pad sil manon roba pune karbi ada kapiel pune ka sabre charger ha parazo dar zonon tinya la bale ay tinya le be ala ndal ka ko halita nyindi ka bang kana ba den kapshire ko hatama karpala tishare balna su bebe heba supplement kar pansa te dablum pam de ba bahane ban dablum barge de ba bahane ban kon de jibu kar cheka be dablum barge to razor nya food supplement maana ay nyurle de tilla anan bana ya katira nan bana de borbe shaw al amana pa dushi dilan ka zibiane dinan ka butu do ada domi man nyingo ka kunum to runguna nyinde nyembom bebe heba supplement shi de nyala di ampae amani kulum de cheka mana patu do kalam to habi yalma bana apai to do ay nyama kadi bi ma do chaba to bahro ay nyama kabi wonan bana pataba bebe heba supplement de tuma galsia pam tre ko to zan programme to zan yadi to a hamala nune da ba do bor ko ni nya kane bi ya zablem david no pam ka pa sadik cyber kintech te table kofi executive director manyala alhaji Abdul Razak na zampuro sonti papa na Muhammad ban le camera zo ka zampuro sonti to nyase wonan biya mbana ampu he yalla matma to zo be mazanan bayine na zampuro son zanti so kam za ba program fa she na yi part ba ko irin kanna ba di paga atandale da lamye program mo kurge adbaira ya minte peta da lamye Sagani TV zo in chapsia assalamu alaikum
to babla italla mambo na yara suba activement et toama
la batam bo artificial dembani wala artificial de look kansan de artificial de man kunku tema ka yundel ka be fuma bo wala tv idal tv tema anya do ngoma de ngoma nza mo meng male na ya hakam je ka wumdo kwaro tv ka de jelsiam
zan solo amen male aminu plus san ka tin zan ta
to kulle ma sun ba se ka fika to kulle
awu me makatio por la tv ngoma de ka bin der bolle de kampora
tenya tv kan dum bi wazanta
ka tv rana about ngoma fa ngoma kaenda la batata biela
ngombo ngonye aminu plus ku bor tv balbo kam zan haka kana chongwanya la ngiyala
ma tabalam pa za patma biene kana cheron gomma ka za be biene za karakara